Do you suspect that you have mold in your home or workspace? Well, you might be interested in this. This is an ozonator, and there are many, many companies out there that make ozonators. They basically produce a triple oxygen molecule. We breathe O2, a double oxygen molecule, and a triple oxygen molecule is not something we can breathe. That is what is the ozone is composed of, hence the name. And it will grab onto all pollutants and pathogens. The triple molecular structure, the three O's, the three oxygens, are very, very unstable. So they want to attach to everything around it, which is why it's so wonderful for trying to clean our air. So it will grab onto bacteria, viruses, pollutants, mold, and it will basically render it incapable of reproducing and being active anymore. So it's great for getting things off of our surfaces and out of our environment. And the thing is that it does not go into the walls. It does not go down deep down into a pillow. If there's it's air. It goes anywhere where air goes. So it's going to circulate throughout your space. If you turn your air conditioning and heating unit on, it will run through there. So it will kill any potential mold that's in your air circulation system. And it will hit anything that's in the air open in the space. It potentially, if you were to drill into a wall and put a tube, I've seen people do this in cars and other things. They put like a tube into the space that they're trying to ozone, and they tape it up with the box attached to the tube, the ozonator machine, and it would go into that space. So I guess potentially if you drilled a hole into your wall, you could get inside if you knew there was mold there. Now, knowing that there's mold in your space by a visual, you can see water damage, you can see that there is like actual like fuzzy mold growing on something in your space. You definitely want to like have a mold remediator come in and cut that out and get rid of it. It will attach these mold spores. They shoot out way across the room. It's pretty amazing how far they can shoot their spores all over the place, and those stick onto anything. They'll stick onto any surface, especially fabrics, and start reproducing there. So for example, when my parents remediated, there was mold in the walls behind the family room couch. And that couch, I was still responding to the mold from that couch. So they had to get a new couch because even though we ran ozone in that space, it still was so sitting literally directly up against that wall for so many years with all that mold that it was just, even though there was no visible mold on the fabric, the mycotoxins were still bothering me. So what I do with ozone is I will run the machine on a kind of like, I don't know, maybe every 6 months, maybe every 3 months. It depends on which season we're in. If it's the rainy season, the mold is going to grow. It's wet and damp, and so the mold is definitely going to want to grow in that space. And so any little bits of anything that's in the area, even if there's nothing visible in this room, I still run it in this room once every 6 months or so. And in the family room where there was mold, it was remediated and everything is good. I still run it in that space every 6 months or so, and in the winter try to do it a little bit more often. And that at least makes it so that anything that's trying to grow in that space, any residual mold spores that were left over, are rendered incapable of reproducing at that point if they're in the open air. So anything that was behind the wall still, that any little spore that was left behind is going to reproduce, just not necessarily the level it was before, when the water damage was still coming through the leaky window. At that point, before remediation, it was a constant flow of dampness coming in through there. We don't live in a very wet climate. It only rains here in the winter and mainly in the spring. So it's really like this winter it's rained a couple times. So really we don't have a lot of dampness. I do notice that if it's been raining for a few weeks and it's been very damp, the sun hasn't been coming out, that I definitely have more of a response to what's going on with the dampness, creating a mold loving environment. So if you live in a very damp area, then getting a dehumidifier and just clearing out that moisture in your air on a regular basis, just having that run is going to be very helpful. And then doing ozone more often is also going to be helpful. Ozone is very, very, very dangerous to breathe. If you breathe ozone, it will kill lung tissue, and it can cause a whole bunch of different problems for lung health and overall immunity. It's not something you want to breathe in. It's very, very toxic. It smells horrible. After you run the ozone machine, you want to hold your breath, run in, and turn it off quickly, and then, or it should be off if it's finished its cycle. Open everything up that you can, get fans going, keep running your air and heating unit, and put an air purifier if you have it in the space to really get that flowing and just clear out everything you can. Have all pets out of the space. They will kill your pets. So this is going to kill your mold, it's going to kill bacteria, it's going to kill viruses. It will also kill any other living thing. So definitely get anything out of your area that you do not want exposed to ozone. This machine has worked great for me. It's a little bit of a bigger size. They have a whole bunch of different sizes. You just turn on the level of potency that you want for the ozone, and then you want to turn it on to the timer that you want. And this one you can run for 12 hours. I usually run it on a 2-hour cycle as I'm doing maintenance just every few months or so, and that seems to work really well for me. I definitely notice a difference after running it. So please leave any comments or questions down below, and do your research on this. There's a whole bunch of different companies out there. I'm not affiliated with this company whatsoever. This is just the one that I have. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.